This is episode 19 of Screenaholics. Is it the last episode of Screenaholics? It might be. It might be. It certainly is going to be the last episode before Perfect Square Day, which, as many of you, as you all know from the constant coverage of it on social media and regular media, is coming on September 16th, 2025, 9/16/25. And of course, you've all heard it many times how 9 is 3 squared, and 16 is 4 squared, and 25 is 5 squared. And is it the end of the world? Um, and I think we should all be ready for the end of the world, but I'm not, but we should also be ready for the world to not end. So, but if it is the end of the world on September 16th, 2025, Perfect Square Day, then this will be the last episode of Screenaholics. And I again interviewed Sasha Mincheva in Napa, and we kind of just went over some more stuff about dating and life and whatnot. And in the end, there's one part I wanted to sort of uh, revisit as I was rewatching just now. But this interview is 6 or 7 weeks old. I think we met on July 12th, so it's longer than I usually go between recording and then actually producing the podcast. So uh, just to just to circle back, Sasha and I were talking for a minute about you know patriarchal religion and the modern sensibility, which is sort of against that, and Sasha was kind of against that, against the patriarchal nature of religion. And so I try to give it a defense by alluding to C.S. Lewis, and who writes about it in Mere Christianity. He kind of gives the Christian explanation for what, that there should be a head. He says between in any relationship, and it should be the man. And why should there be a head? Well, just as a tie-breaking vote. I kind of allude to that in our interview. But then why should it be the man? He mentions that the relation. He's talking about the relations of the family to the outside world, what might be called its foreign policy. So I'm quoting now. Must depend in the last resort upon the man, because he always ought to be, and usually is, much more just to the outsiders. A woman is primarily fighting for her own children and husband against the rest of the world. Naturally, almost, in a sense, rightly, their claims override for her all other claims. She is the special trustee of their interests. Naturally, almost, in a sense, right. Oh, went back and started reading the same thing. I kind of want to stop and re-record, but that's like you know, these pre-interview introductions, like recording them and re-recording them is like leaving a voicemail message. I mean, it's just the typical egocentric, uh, self-centered activity of our age. So it's enough already. That's why needs to be the last episode. Anyway, um, he has the last word in order to protect other people. So she's the special trustee of their interests. The function of the husband is to see that this natural preference of hers is not given its head. He has the last word in order to protect other people from the intense family patriotism of the wife. If anyone doubts this, let me ask a simple question. If your dog has bitten the child next door, or if your child has hurt the dog next door, which would you sooner have to deal with? The the master of that house or the mistress? Or if you're a married woman, let me ask you this question. Much as you admire your husband, would you not say that his chief failing is his tendency not to stick up for his rights and yours against the neighbors as vigorously as you would like? A bit of an appeaser. An appeaser. So he's writing at the time of World War II. So the whole idea of appeasement was very more present when he wrote. Of course, Churchill was the not the appeaser, and Neville Chamberlain was the appeaser, and But anyway, it's kind of getting off track. Reading that last part, I'm not sure. I just don't know what next for Screenaholics. Well, episode 20 if we ever get there. But in the meantime, if you got a couple hours, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Thank you for your support. Yeah, I think you're centered.
Put your water over there. Okay, I need to like come very close.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Nice. Where's yours?
Oh, look,
right
I can like lean back, and this could still be like very in my face, so I can't miss it. Put it up.
Okay. Yeah, it's yeah, okay. I can definitely hear. I can see the green bar moving when I'm talking, and then same with you, right?
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with
there
this.
you go.
Like,
There you go.
I don't know if you like end up using it, but it's kind of fun. I don't know. I've never been like in the setting like that, so like this is cool. But then like when I watched it, I was like, oh my god, no, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I thought we should do it a second time in part because of the sound, like with people.
It was it was very hard. Like I almost got like tired of listening to it because it was hard to like.
Yeah, well, I'm a beginner a little bit, so this is kind of what the thing is. But
you're an amateur.
Oh, look at see, here's an amateurness. I'm not transitioning. We're just looking at me the whole time.
We are.
Yeah. Well, now we're looking at you. I just had to press a button.
Oh, so you have to do it every time.
That's
like I wouldn't be able to keep up. Do you want to just like simplify? I don't know.
I mean, we could try this for a little bit. Let's see if I catch myself again, sleeping on the job.
Okay.
I'll let you know. But I think this is how I usually do them. Dude. But I was thinking like I could intentionally just put the mic on the wrong person or the camera on the wrong person.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I it's like a software you're using.
Yeah, it's called OBS. Yeah. But so there's that. That was how we did the first half of the last episode, right? And then we did the second half all in one shot.
One shot, yeah.
Which we could try that also, but yeah.
I didn't like myself so much on the second shot. It was like the angle was like, but it's fine. I'm not like I'm not like, oh, you can't use that. I don't care. Like I'm not trying to be like
controlling the directing. It was
no, it's what you see is what you get. Like I'm not trying to like make this angle so I look better. Like, because I have friends sometimes like that we will go somewhere. I travel with her to Italy and she won't. Like I can't post pictures with her without like her approving it. And I'm like, and she knows about me. Like, I'm like, I don't care. You can post whatever you want. I don't care. Like I don't.
Well, it's like if you know you have a good side. Do you have a good side? I think I'm pretty much the same on both sides. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a.
I don't know if I have a good side.
The front is the good side.
I know, but like I don't. Yeah.
Not the it's like the back's fine too, but the front has the.
Well, yeah, you would assume like seeing your face in any angle should be enough. Right? Is it like, do you think it's like going through easy? Is it like, do you want to see how I sound?
I mean, I think it's, I'm pretty.
Am I doing okay with like being as close? I'm almost like biting it.
That's the idea. Yeah, it makes me feel important when I'm talking right into it like that. Do you get that? Sort of like, oh, this is like you're this is, because it makes you not forget about it. Anyway, well, so we can stop talking about
Are you recording now?
Yeah.
Somehow we're like transitioning.
I started recording pretty like a couple of minutes ago, right when you were saying, this is fun. I'm having fun with it. Like that was when I pressed record, but I figured I could cut all that stuff out, but
okay. Do I look this way more? Like
I think yeah.
It was okay with the way it was.
It's still okay. I mean, they're both, like you said, they're both okay.
But you don't know how it sounds though. Like, do you know like if I'm actually doing a good job of like speaking right in it? Because I could almost hear the sound bouncing off the microphone. That's how close I am.
That's positive, I think, and but it's also probably because those we're not using those little muffler things. I think they're called wind screens, maybe. Um, but yeah, so I was thinking one thing like we could just sort of to start off like, um, I wonder if so. I was thinking about like just men and women in the dating sphere or whatever, and the one thing that I notice is like when I'm around a beautiful woman, I like I just want to make her happy. Like I just want her to be pleased. Like so I think I have trouble being honest or authentic because I'm so like oh, this beautiful woman. I want to say something that she likes. Do you notice that experience just generally as a woman? Like, do you kind of know, oh, men are always trying to please me, so they're not. So, but that leads. There's a good. Was a good and bad to that whole experience.
I think I find out sometimes a little later. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when the real character starts to come in, and I was like, oh my god. And my friend likes to say it's because when they go on their first dates, they send their best representative. That's her commentary on it,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of only I only kind of thought about it more like recent years. It wasn't always like I didn't know that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking yes, because like they always kind of they're perfect. They say like whatever you want to hear, and
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah. So you do that. I mean, I think it's a common thing.
I
I try to be more also. Like it could go for women as well,
definitely, yeah,
but I feel like I'm pretty authentic the way I am. Yeah.
yeah,
I think I'm. We
yeah,
all think that way, but
yeah.
I definitely try to just be as easy. I am like I try to make the situation easygoing, but I wouldn't lie about like how it makes me feel and whatnot.
Yeah, I was almost thinking like I might want to even lean into it more and just like because
What do you mean? Like to try to like please
just
more?
try to what more?
To please more? Like
Yes,
when
yes,
yeah.
like just lean in, just like because it's
But
just like
while still try to be authentic or
yeah, I guess so too.
okay.
Like there's got to be some I don't know exactly the best way to mix the two, but I definitely yeah I yeah sort of admitting it I guess.
Yeah, as long as it's not making you uncomfortable, because like what happens is down the road, if you have been like doing something to please someone, but it's not what you really want, eventually doesn't it end up being like kind of there's some resentfulness that comes out
Yeah, yeah, I think
when now you're expected to do this, and now you weren't honest with yourself at first, and now you're like, okay, this is getting too much.
yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
that way?
that's totally that sounds like a familiar pattern or something like that could happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel it it takes a while to really know someone.
I mean, another like I guess this is just a I saw online somewhere somebody saying that like women uh and maybe this is like maybe it's good to talk about the difference between men and women. And one way I heard this described is that like when something peculiar to women is that like women from ages like 18 to 28 or something like that, like it's like they have a superpower like because they're so desired by men, and so like the
Oh,
amount of
they can get away with a murder.
attention, yeah, there's like a lot of attention, a lot of so it's like not that not necessarily they get away with murder, but just that they but it's like they have a superpower because they can get they can get like men people will give them things just because of where they're at, the stage they're at in their life. Was that your experience a little? Do you feel like not
No.
so much?
Like no. No, by the time I feel like I wasn't raised that way, so it was very, like I was kind of I was always very accommodating and pleasing, and I feel I never really did that when I was dating, and as I
Did that being like extract anything out of it, like, or
I still to this day, like I would meet women and they would
because
tell me stories, and I know that they certainly have used that angle. I've
well,
never.
I guess I didn't mean though. Like, did you was it something about your behavior or a woman's behavior? I more meant like the behavior of society and particularly men toward them. Like, do you think that's do you notice that like heightened amount of attention? You know, like once you get out of puberty, I guess like, oh wow, like there's this attention exists. And maybe you didn't let it change you, but would you say that it was there?
Yes, and I don't think I ever got comfortable. Like I
Yeah.
never really got too comfortable with it. Like I still like because I don't want to. It one thing is, when somebody like a man that you're not interested necessarily in, and comes and gives you a compliment, it's nice. But when it becomes like a little bit, but then I always feel like, well, how do I respond to this so he doesn't think I want him back? Because in men, like if you respond
Mhm.
nice, they
Mhm.
immediately assume like you're in.
Mhm.
But then they won't, unless you're really sharp, they won't back out. So
Mhm.
it's like sometimes, like I have to get resolved to that, like, like being almost like, leave me alone, because they just won't. And I don't like that.
Yeah, so you develop a sharp. That's an interesting way of putting. Like you have to develop a sharpness or and boundaries, I guess, right?
Yes. And I still struggle with that. I don't like, because I
Mhm.
always feel like, well, I don't want to offend him, but I
Mhm.
don't want him.
Mhm. Yeah.
And if he's a kind of like a good man or nice man, he will get it the first time. Like, she's not interested.
Mhm. Right.
But I've had a lot of the times when it actually turns, if you're not sharp the first time in turning down, it will become this like more persistent, and then it could be like, okay, I'm annoyed now, leave me alone, please, like I don't like this.
Mhm. Yeah.
I didn't want to be this person, but now I don't like it.
Uh, uh, I'm a little reminded of also this is this, I'm just mentioning online things again, but I know you heard Scarlett Johansson recently was saying how like she's talked about how come uh, being in some of her earlier roles or a lot of her roles, like there's a lot of like sort of sexual. She's been sexualized, and she's like talking about being uncomfortable with it. But on the other hand, people are like, oh well, you made it. She's the most wealthy movie star in the world
Is she?
because of yeah.
Oh,
Apparently,
I didn't know. Yeah,
apparently she there's by some measure she's earned grossed the most. Her movies have grossed the most
possibly.
money.
Yeah, she's good. So
But I guess the question, so it's like, but she talks about the male gaze, the male gaze. So like when we stare at you, basically. But she's talking about like a little part of the negative.
mhm.
There's a negative part and a positive part, right? I guess that'd be like there would be both.
The positive would be if you like the guy and he stares.
Right, right.
Then the negative is like if now you have this guy staring at you and you're like uncomfortable.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like that's the difference, like how you would.
Totally.
Cause I personally don't like to be in the in the spotlight. That
Mm-hmm.
I like to dress to feel comfortable and to feel good. That's how it ends up. But
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like to be a center of discussion.
Mm-hmm. So
And
you
even recently, at my birthday, I realized that because there was these people that were trying like, oh, it's your birthday, let's do this, and I'm like, half of these people I didn't even know, like
mm-hmm.
friend of a friend. They were like just, and I would feel uncomfortable. I had to like escape. I just did not want to be center of.
Mm-hmm. Right, and like where she's uh, she's a movie star, so they are naturally the center of attention. Or there, it's like you take the I guess the attention becomes converted into money and fame. I guess
Mhm.
is
And is she used to it? What was she saying?
I guess it sounded like she was saying not that she wasn't not that it was it's obviously not new to her, but she's almost I think she's it almost seemed like she was as she was she's just turned 40 and she was saying that it's like she's trying to transition onto something different. You know, it sounded a little like hypocritical because she's criticizing it as if it was a bad thing, but she made so much money off of it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But um, but I sort of understand. I guess it makes sense that now she would want to have different kind of roles. Like she doesn't want to be typecast in that way.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, at some point, like you gotta outgrow that and just kind of go into those more mature roles, I guess, because that is still ongoing, even though with all these Me Too movements and all that. I think women are still
Right.
sexualized, and watched something about Brooke Shields when she was so young, and she was in all these like very I mean, the roles that she had to play at a very young age. She was underage, and they put her in the spotlight and made her like sexualized by all these much older men, and
Mm-hmm.
she was never comfortable, but that was the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
she survived it. She did pretty well. It didn't affect her in a way, I think. 'Cause I don't know. I mean, I don't follow where she's at right now, but I feel like she's standing pretty, grounded. It didn't mess her up like that, but imagine it was really difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't have been comfortable.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never been really comfortable being, center of attention like in that way.
Right. You would. Yeah. You don't. You never wanted to be an actress particularly. Yeah. Um. I was. I wonder. I was thinking also. You talk about when she was a teenager, and I was just thinking like, to what extent being a mom changes your outlook toward men. Being a mother of a son in particular, how much that changes your outlook toward men, or makes like, uh, especially I guess now because your son's probably going to be venturing into the dating world. We won't put him on blast like that. But I mean, but I imagine like as a mother of a son, you have a certain like sympathy for the male perspective because you walk in his shoes a little bit.
Yes, and yeah, we haven't really gotten. I feel like what I've noticed in him so far, in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pleased with what I see. He's very respectful towards women. I don't think he's gonna be he's gonna grow up to be a man who makes a woman uncomfortable. That's how I so far is what I'm seeing, and I don't know if a lot of it has to do, you know, he was raised a lot by myself and his grandma. Like that's his dad's mom. That she also was a single mom. So he kind of like he sees that single women, like he respects them in a different way. Like, and and I feel like he grew up around a lot of women, so I feel he learned that a little bit different attitude. That
Mm-hmm.
say, I really hope it continues. I mean, I know there's like peer pressure in young men out there, but so far I think he's not. He knows what he wants. He's very clear on boundaries, and I think he respects that in other people.
I guess what happens is that there's like uh, men what a young man will like runs into a woman that he likes, but and it's not if it's not reciprocated, that's where the danger comes in. Like you talked about, like he's not going to creep anybody out or anything like that. But like you say, it's all as a mother, you probably think that mothers typically think like, well, everybody would love their son, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's hard to
So
imagine.
I
Like,
sure hope that's the case. I mean,
right, right. But
so far the experience I know in the way like you talked about girls he liked, I think if they don't like him back, he just moves on like
sure,
quietly.
sure.
But and that's the way it should be. Like I feel,
But there's like romantic movies like the one is it Say Anything with John Cusack where he like
yeah, I
goes
don't know.
outside her house and holds a big radio up in the sky saying some kind of like romantic song or something like that.
I mean, that would be cute
And
if
and
she
it's a
likes
it's
him
a
back.
romantic movie
I
like
haven't
she
seen it. Yeah.
but well there's these in a lot of romantic movies like the it's like, well, does she not like me, or does she just not see my love for her? Have I not, it's a tricky balance, right?
Yes, I guess it is. But I mean, because sometimes they say, well, if it doesn't work this time, we just keep trying, and there's that. But also, it's read the signs. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've liked a lot of people. The like, I never said anything, and if I didn't see them, in any way, like I would know if they like me back. But I would
Mm-hmm.
not go and say anything and just see like just in case he hasn't noticed. I feel like if he liked me back, that would be obvious.
Well, and maybe that's because like men usually pursue women, so you're used to being pursued.
Yes.
Um, so if a guy, if you don't get pursued, he must not like you. It's not like you're.
Yes, and it's a sign, like what they call like no sign is also a sign. when they
Mm-hmm.
when they don't call back, it's also a sign.
Mm-hmm. Was that movie? He's just not that into. I didn't see it. I remember it was a title.
There's a title, but I don't.
I think it was based on. It came out of. I feel like it came out of a Sex in the City plot. Maybe like it was from. But it because it seemed like some kind of.
Yeah, the title is telling, but I don't think or if I've seen it, it would have been so long ago. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it kind of is clear what the the movie's about.
Well, there's a lot of sometimes I've seen videos where people are talking about like guys are trying to say whether they can read a woman's sign. Like women have signals for us that they're into us, but like they're tricky signals to read. Like, do you have any insight into that, or do you talk to other girls about that, or?
Well, so when you first said signs, and I'm like, is he gonna go into astrology? Because
Oh,
yes.
okay, we can do that. Yeah.
But like I'm a Cancer,
Uh huh.
and I like
Yeah, yeah. Go
people
into
to
it.
read
Yeah.
my mind because I won't speak up. But I am aware of that. Like actually, the thing is also at some point you gotta be aware of what's not in your favor when it comes to your character and maybe work on it. So I've noticed, and friends too. Like when we talk about it, you really have to be very specific, like spell it out to a man. They're not gonna read your mind how you wanted things to be, how you wanted to be surprised, or how you wanted, things done. Like
Mm-hmm.
you just have to spell it out.
Hmm.
So I've worked on it. I've started being more communicative, more clear.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So that's a Cancer characteristic to be a little bit more
If you
more
read about it,
more
that's one of
passive.
the things. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you read about that, it's like it's almost like it becomes the joke about cancers. Like um, I'm upset because you didn't read my mind well, or something like that. And I'm aware of that, so I don't, like it's like a characteristic that is very common. But those are things that I think are more apparent when you're younger, and then you really should be working on your personality as you grow and find out what are the flaws about yourself, and try to work on them. And
Are there are there signs that are more compatible with like this? Do people do they have a thing with this sign is compatible with that sign and blah blah blah?
I mean, I've heard like there's Scorpio and
Mm.
it's a Scorpio and Cancer. I don't.
What's not? What's the what month?
The
What month is
ultimately
Scorpio?
that is October, November.
Okay. And what are their characteristics?
Well, they're kind of more passionate. They're kind of like they would do impulsive things more out of passion. Like Cancer is passionate, but it's like more low key. I feel like, and Scorpio is like he will burn everything to the ground.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the main things.
Have you found yourself? Have you been in any relationships with Scorpios? Does that?
No, but I have friends Scorpios. Like one of my best friends, she's a Scorpio, and we get along very well. We're kind of like we we balance each other well.
And what? But she's given to fits of passion and.
Yes, I think they. I mean, I don't know. It's more like, in a way, they're considered a little more like sexuality is a big thing for them. They will use it in their favor.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of traits and characteristics that that's like a whole topic that yeah. We could touch on it here and there. I wouldn't go too deep. We'll ruin this podcast in like under 2 minutes.
I mean, we could change the character of the podcast. I mean, I would. I'm not. Cause it's true. It's not like necessarily what I'm.
Yeah. We can
focused
you
on, but
can go
it's-
into different. Yeah, I see. Like it's fun. I mean I wasn't prepared to go fully like, 'cause when you ask me like Scorpion, I'm like, well, I know the top characteristics, but
Yeah.
it's a little more in depth, and I don't know if I can express it
What
as well.
are tarot cards related to astrology? Or do you
I
know
mean,
anything
there's
about?
a lot to it. Yes, there is. There's a lot to it. I don't personally, like like I've done it, and for many years I actually resisted, but so many of my friends were into it, so I was like, okay, I had like a tarot reading, but I try not to because it's just I like to kind of lean more into my own intuition.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's a little like what they're like advice givers a little bit, and it's like.
I mean, there's people that like to, like they like to like do a reading for like what's happening, what's coming up, and whatnot. And I don't know. I feel like I like to be more intuitive. There was a moment, the tarot cards I think were talked a lot, talked about a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and there's still a lot of women that lean on them a lot, but not myself necessarily. But it is, when you look into it, the readings, they talk about usually when they're doing a tarot reading, and I've seen a lot on YouTube, and they will talk about like, oh, and then and this is Aquarius energy, and this is this energy, like there's certain cards that they kind of represent a certain zodiacal sign, which also when you're doing the reading, it will kind of go into like what the traits are for the zodiacal signs. So they will, like, oh, there's this card like somebody's coming and they're gonna do this, and I'm sensing Aquarius energy, but it could be a Cancer. That's how they do the reading. So there is a lot. It leans a lot into astrology.
That makes sense. Like if you're gonna predict the future, you might want to.
It's kind of nice getting an idea, somebody like in astrology, what they lean. For me, it's like, understanding how to understand them.
Yeah.
It's nice when somebody tell you like, oh, because you're, okay, are you like a Leo or a Virgo? Because you're like in the middle. Like you're kind
No,
of,
I'm a.
you're Virgo, I think.
No, I'm Cancer. Yeah, I'm Cancer like you.
Wait.
Yeah, my birthday's next week. Yeah.
Oh, it's next week.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was
Or
in
maybe
August.
2 weeks. It's.
I thought you said it was in August.
It's what is it? I'm leaving on Wednesday.
Oh,
my
I
birthday's a
see.
week from Tuesday, so yeah.
Okay, so you're going for your birthday. Oh, how fun.
I'll be there for my birthday. Yeah.
So you are a Cancer.
Yep. Last day, I think. It's the last day of
Okay,
Cancer.
so you're kind of like in between that.
Leo starts the
Leo.
23rd. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we're a couple of Cancers. You know.
Yeah, I am a Cancer too.
Yeah. That makes sense. That sort of fits. What's Virgo? So Virgo's after Leo.
Oh, for some reason I thought you said next month, and that's why I was thinking like Virgo's after Leo, so it's
Okay.
like right on the 22nd.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a completely different. Yeah, I know men Cancers. I know that.
What's how does it manifest differently from in men and women?
It does.
The astrological sign of Cancer. Yeah.
I feel like when a woman Cancer and she's moody is kind of cute. When a man Cancer is moody, that's not cute. That's like it's like you need to get a hold of this.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And
So
it's
moody. So it's moodiness. Okay.
yeah, they could be big children. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Like I'm not saying you are. I say they can be. You know, like this is just new information right in. I thought you were a Virgo.
A Virgo.
Yes, but I do. You know, like I know. And a lot of it is, they just. I feel like they hadn't grown up, because you can be, like a man Cancer and be aware of your like shortcomings and work on them.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is when you don't,
Mm-hmm.
because there's insecurities like in Cancer that's common,
Mm.
and a grown up man that like his insecurities like take over. It could be, you know, it
Yeah.
could be dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Would you say like you've had? I mean, if you don't have to, it's your podcast. You can share or not. But would you say like at some point you've had kind of like you didn't speak your mind, and then you got like you know resentful of things, and then it kind of got out of like you were upset,
Uh, sure. Yeah. I mean, like, I think
moody, and
I could be toward like I think I've yeah. I wouldn't say that fits better. That's a better description of me than being passionate. Like I'm not gonna have like get like
dual.
right. I guess not. Yeah.
That's a Scorpio thing. They're like, let's go right now. So that's how my friend describes it. So
Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 I mean, everybody wants to have more confidence. So I don't think that I'm like, I don't think of that as a specific special thing about me. But yeah, I can like work on being more like doubt, being skeptical. Like sometimes I think about life as like a chess match, and your chess. When you're playing chess, do you play chess at all?
yes,
Okay. So like you can pause between moves and like look ahead and this and there's that and
you have
but
to
I,
like
but I
go
could
a few
like
moves ahead. Yeah.
but I could get like stuck in like you could imagine taking just forever to make a single move, you know what I mean? Like so there's just you can only look down the road for so long. You got to go ahead and move sometimes, and sometimes might have a little. I think like I spent too much of my life looking down the road ahead, maybe.
Like thinking too much,
Yeah,
overthinking.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
overthinking.
common. I mean, like you don't want to be impulsive. Impulsiveness could be.
Yeah, like that, and that can be you can overcorrect it, like I got to stop overthinking, and then just make a horrible decision. So
Yeah.
like, well, calm down, not.
And I remember growing up, like my mom would always say, like, always count to 10 when it feels like like count to 10 before you respond. And that's not something when we're young we do a lot, but like as we age, we kind of. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the experience really kicks in. At some point, it's the life experience that will teach you a few things, and like, okay, I can be quiet. Like I don't have to speak here. I might do a very deep eye roll, but not say anything. And just kind of. I'm very okay with not saying something to like, when I know it's gonna go like, but I still will make sure if it's something that it needs to make a wrong right. I
So
would make sure like I speak up.
if something needs to be said.
But if I know it might create like it's not gonna end up well in this very moment, I might just be like, I'm not gonna start argument with a drunk person or something, like that kind of.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I can relate to that. Yeah, like sort of thinking of reasons not to say something.
And in my line of work, like you work with customers, and sometimes you hear, they talk about things, and politics is a big one, and it's the thing. You say nothing. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. That, um, yeah, politics is a big one. Yeah, that I remember hearing somebody like talking politics at work a little bit, and I'm like annoyed, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky because if you don't say things enough times, like it sort of catches up with you, and you end up, you know,
Resentfulness.
yes,
But
yes,
that's the thing. There's a right time and a right place.
right.
So reading the room, I don't just like blurt it in a room where
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna create this massive argument, and now it's that's what I'm saying. I still would speak up. Like I don't like passive aggressiveness is like you don't want to do passive aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be, but I want to sit down and have this conversation with someone when I know it's gonna be heard. But sometimes when they're in defensive mode already, what's the point? Like you already gonna like they're just gonna be coming at you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And I've been in many like I so here's the thing, astrology.
Okay.
There's a lot, like it's your main sign, what's your, sun sign, which is the Cancer, but then it's like your what is your ascendant and what is your moon and all of that. So my moon, for example, is Libra, and then in conjunction with my other placements or whatever, I I tend to be like very the person in the middle of the argument when I could see this side and this side. So when like friends are arguing, I would be like the person that like in the middle, like okay, well yeah, but you have to hear. So I'm the how do you say
Mediator, I
the
think.
mediator a lot. Like my friends always say, like you always kind of mediate a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
I could be a good politician, maybe.
It's like maybe middle children get that way or something. I don't know. Um, so another relationship. Well, I'm trying to. Yeah, another relation. This is new topic, but unless I'm
Yeah, we could know.
cutting you off on anything,
No, no,
let me
no.
know. Um, but how? So one relationship thing, I guess that's hard is a breakup. So how have you navigated breakups in your life? You know, being whether it's being broken up with or breaking up with the other person. Um, how's I don't know, maybe yeah.
I've done both, and obviously it's easier when you're the one that like breaks up, right? Um, but I usually would just kind of. A lot of times it's me doing the breaking up, like so
Which is good because that's easier, right?
it is easier.
Yeah.
The reasons are usually sad, but it's basically me starting to disconnect from the person because the way they were in the beginning, it doesn't, it didn't follow, and
Didn't match what they were later on.
yes, and now I start to get a little like bored and resentful in a way, like not not resentful so much, but like I'm at the point like if they don't want to break up, that's gonna be like hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm trying to be like practical about it, and that's the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I could drag a breakup
Drag it out.
just yes because I feel bad.
Yeah, yeah.
When I'm the one doing it, I actually feel bad. Like I do feel about the other person.
Right. Like, I mean,
And
yeah.
and then when they do break up with me, I mean, I've cried,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd just be quiet and just kind of yeah. I wouldn't be like sending millions of messages and trying to be like, but hear me out. Like no, I wouldn't be that. I would just kind of go into my little like cave and just cry it out or sleep it out, whatever. Go through the emotions, and
Do you think that
I won't fight it. Like that's what I'm saying. I won't fight it.
see I I I get that, huh? Jeez, I've probably fought it a few times. So I'm wondering. But I know it's not a good idea. It doesn't make any sense to fight it because it's like, what kind of relationship would that be? But um, but I felt like I had to learn that. Is that so? I guess my question would be like, is your first? Do you think your first breakups were much different? Like, did you have to?
Oh yes, I cried.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So
that was like high school things, and it was I mean, it's a complicated situation. Like I don't know if I wanna.
no. Yeah. Yeah.
It's cute. It was cute, but it was like I did cry. I did cry because I feel it was a very innocent story. Like we were kids, and it was more like he wasn't giving me the attention I wanted, but we're like supposedly together. But it was one of those like it's not like you know,
Yeah.
we go out a lot, and then this I met this other guy, like he came out of nowhere, like he was I guess he knew my friends from before. He moved away with his family, and he just like went on pursuing me, like, and all of a sudden he just won me over, and I thought like the guy that I was going out with, it was just
The one.
so innocent and
The one you
childlike.
were heartbroken over, but for.
Yes, I didn't think he cared enough about me. So when I told him when we broke up, and I told him, and he was so upset that it made me very upset. So it was like very sad. So I even stopped like talking to the other guy for a while.
Because you sort of like to pay out of respect for how upset the first guy was.
Yes, because I was like, I didn't think you liked me, and I'm all like, upset about it, and it was just that was cute, like now that I look back on it, it was so cute, and eventually, the guy that I broke up with, like he kind of was very upset. He wouldn't talk to me, but still kind of wants to be around. Like he would kind of like be in places that I was, and so eventually, this other guy, however, even though I pushed him away, eventually we did end up down the road, like having a very nice relationship, actually. And it was much more like it was more mature. Like he
Yeah,
was
I'll
a
bet.
year older, but like he was a little more. I want to say like he was treating me the way I wanted to be treated,
Yeah.
and it was nice. And ultimately it paid out. Like we were together for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Um. Well, that reminded me. That just gave me a good question. Now I'm blanking on it. It's. Oh yeah. So can you be friends with an ex?
Yes,
Okay.
that person like I'm so gentle when I break up. Like we still, like I'm still friends with them, but I know I would never go back. Like it's just like the reason why I'm friends with him is because I know that that's as far as I would go. Not because I'm trying to keep him close, and no. When I'm done, I'm done.
Uh huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's like I know like men sometimes could be insecure about like me talking like to my ex, but for example, my ex-husband, like we're good friends now. I mean, we're
Mm-hmm.
raising a child together,
Yeah,
so
that's a special kind of ex.
yeah. So he would take me out for Mother's Day, and like I don't know if he would do that if I was in a relationship. I don't. He still would. Yeah, he still would.
Mm-hmm.
He would offer at the very least to
Mm-hmm.
like just take me out for Mother's Day, but he wouldn't impose or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But like that friendship is very important to me. We need to be friends, and be kind of communicating easy on our child's raising him and all that.
Yeah. No.
and
Yeah.
and yeah, there's a few exes that I'm like I've friends or talk with. There's a few that I'm like they just didn't take it very well. So
Right.
I wouldn't pursue, but if they want to be friends, I'm okay. Because I'm a caring person, so I want people, like, I still, I still care about these people. If they need something and I could help in any way, um, it's important to me to, like, not have it, bad blood in those old relationships. But I understand sometimes it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, what do you like? Have you had them somewhere? It's like, oh, it's a clean break. Like we didn't speak again, but that was like maybe it's fine because it's like at least
What is a clean break?
well like when you just decide to say like, well, I just know that we like if one of them didn't if one of us didn't take it well, like, well then that part of the, like I would be pretending if I it would be like going into pretend mode if I was gonna stay around. So I'd rather disappear.
And yeah, and that's very common. Like,
Yeah.
you might need some time, and then eventually, when you've moved on, I'm okay if you reach out and say hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you understand it. And usually, that would also mean they've kind of already experienced somebody else, and they're a little more at ease.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because if it's still sore, I wouldn't want to be around if you're still trying, and I wouldn't be able to be a friend if, like, you're seeing this as maybe those friendships that I had is usually like they've come to terms and they're totally cool.
I mean, I guess where I think about it as a clean break, like for me, it's been if I'm doing if I'm breaking up with them, then I'll be like, uh, sometimes I've felt like I have to make it a clean break because I know it's just
Making it worse.
yeah, it's like there's yeah, it's not gonna be it's a dishonest thing. Like I can tell that they want like especially if I can tell that they're not in a place where it's okay. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
which is usually a lot of times would be the case. Like if they were like pretty much happy with the breakup, then usually I wouldn't bother to break up. I would just wait for them to break up with me. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna. But yeah.
Yeah, clean break is, like, that's why it's easier if you don't live with the person.
Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah.
It's much harder if you live with the person,
Oh yeah.
and now you gotta, like, sit with them, through them, like, figuring it
It's very
out
hard. Yeah.
and going moving on their own, and I've been in this situation and it's not fun.
Mhm.
So it's always like the cleanest break is if you just have your own spaces, and
Mhm.
that's easy. And then
Mhm.
when they're ready to kind of reach out again and they're okay with it, that's fine. If they're not, I mean, you don't want to be nurturing that. I wouldn't keep an ex that is still trying to actively pursuing me. It wouldn't be
Right.
fair if I'm trying to be with somebody else. And
Right. Right. It's a well, and you hear also sometimes you hear about the other hard part is if you're like if you've moved on and you're with somebody else, and then it's like oh an ex wants to be friends, but then it's like well is that threatening to the person you're with now? Like I wouldn't want to. So I wouldn't want to threat like I don't know. I haven't had that. I don't have a lot of exes reach reach back out to me. I don't know if that's something that happens to you a
oh
lot.
my. Well, you. I don't want to be with a guy that's, like, jealous, and feels insecure in that way. But I wouldn't also, like, keep, like I say, you wouldn't keep a person that's actively trying to pursue you, because that would be uncomfortable, and I wouldn't put, my partner or current partner in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
If But if you know the other person is cool, and then if you introduce somebody to me that, okay, we were together in the past, and now we're just, like, we hanging out with, like, oh, like, I wouldn't feel threatened.
well this
I
is
wouldn't feel bad. Like, I would be totally okay.
with your partner having his ex girlfriend around.
Yes, if they're, if she's not like still.
Yeah.
I mean, even if she is with girls, I feel like it's okay. I'm not. I feel like if it's meant to be for me, I don't have to watch over my shoulder about this guy.
Right. But wait, what did you say? Even if she is with girls, or what did you say?
Even if she's even if she's kind of still not over him,
Oh.
I
You
mean,
trust him to figure it. You want to be able to. You want to be able
I
to trust
trust
him to
that
work it out.
if he tells me, she's only a friend, that's it. That's fine, and you'll know if it's more than that. At least I will know.
Um, I've been watching some podcasts where they're talking about like there's something with Jonah Hill. I think Jonah Hill was dating somebody. She was a swim coach or something, or a surfing instructor.
Surfer girl.
And he
Yes,
told her like I don't want you to be I don't want you to have. I think he didn't want her on social media so much, like posting pictures of herself in a swimsuit, and he didn't want to have her, maybe it was communicating with exes. I've heard those heard those things like sort of.
he wrote down a contract basically.
Well, I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know the specifics of it. Yeah,
Like these are the things I remember because they blast him. Like
right.
he went on the wrong side very quick. Um, and they blast him for having these requirements, which I thought was also outrageous. You knew who you were getting in with, and trying to change this girl.
Maybe she was already she was a surfing instructor. I don't know. It's interesting because this is the thing about, though, I would say it's like, and maybe this is the thing about women having, you can have like gay male friends who are, of course you can trust a
You
little bit
don't feel
more.
threatened by.
Yeah, they're not going to be staring at you. But the but among straight males, like, I think we sort of expect, like, Jonah Hill just knows that other straight guys like himself are not principled in their, like, pursuit. Like, they're just gonna, you know what I mean? Like, he knows that her Instagram account has like 100, proposals a day or whatever it is. So it's like there's sort of a understanding that men are different, and I mean, maybe not. Maybe women are viciously, like, in their pursuit of certain men also. But I feel like um, men, as a man, I might not want my girlfriend hanging out with too many other men because I know what other men are
Yeah,
after.
there's that. But I mean, I have a lot of male friendships, and it's kind of, they're never. I don't know. I feel like I introduce all my male friends, so you kind of like will get the idea, right? You
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
idea, and it's like, oh yeah, they're just weird people that she hangs out with, but they're no threat. Like like you know when you meet them. Like, but if it was somebody that was like, if I had any guy that was constantly like being inappropriate, I wouldn't be, like I wouldn't be around. Like I wouldn't be comfortable around them. I wouldn't be comfortable if I was constantly being like, in this
Right,
situation where I have to check him.
right.
So I wouldn't have friends like that.
So the
But then again, like male perspective is different. And
right. So, and the male answer to that is that those men in your life who are just totally chill, they all secretly hope that one night you'll have to, you'll turn to them and be like, oh, or they're all ready for you. They're all ready for you. That's
see,
just, I don't know. That's a creepy thought, maybe.
yes, but then if I don't like someone, I'm not gonna be with them.
Right.
Like if you don't like someone, I'm not just gonna like get drunk and be like, let's go. Like it's just this is how my brain works. Like I would not, I
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I hear you.
It's just that, but I understand like from male perspective, you can't trust that. You
That-
can't trust
That's
that.
right, and it's like so it's, I mean, like, I don't have, I mean, so I think it's kind of is not a very honorable way to pursue a woman. So like I try. So I don't know. Like so I say it saying like uh, why I don't have very many female friends, and my feeling is because like I know myself, and I'm with women. I'm you know, I'm interested in them, or I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. So it's like that.
I mean, it's different. I guess
I
the
mean,
way I was raised, like I feel
it's
like sometimes they say like in Europe people are different. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
think we just like have these big circles of friends, and and like this one I'm into, and this is who I'm gonna like
uh
go
huh,
and get intimate with. All the other ones, you're like sidelined, and it's fine. Like that's
yeah,
how it is. And we hang out, and it's
yeah, yeah. No, and I guess it's like I mean, it's like I guess there's women who are attached, and it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna you know, ignore them or stay away from them or anything like that. I just like and I work with women, you know, so like we'll you know work relationships and lots of reasons we can hang out or whatever, but like but I'm not gonna so yeah, it would be like it could be at a group setting. That would be fun to be in a
but I wouldn't, I mean, it would be probably weird if I go out with a boyfriend or someone who I'm seeing, and I just bring like this one male friend. Like
oh
I'm
yeah,
talking like
yeah,
when it's a group setting, it's always normal.
right. No, that makes yeah that totally makes sense. I mean that's a very I think that's very desirable to have a big group of friends like that.
Yes, I think like that should be more normalized, but I notice here in the States it's different. It's different. When I told this girl I know, I was telling her, "Oh, I'm going on vacation, with me and my son and this couple who are like my friends and their two kids." And she's like, "Wasn't that weird?" Because then I'm like, "Well, why would it be weird? Like
No,
we're
it's
like
like
actually like really cool like that."
a couple
It's
of families, yeah.
yes, and it's never been weird. And I think like she's European, like they've traveled a lot. They're very kind of open minded like that, and it never gets like we're like why we don't even think about it, but other people would bring it up if I mention like, oh, I always hang out with my married friends.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't it weird? Like when you go on vacation together, like why would it be weird? I don't think that way, but I could see it's a thing because there's plenty of stories that happen, and I guess it's just hard for me to align with that. It's hard for me because I see things differently, and people just have a hard time believing it.
When you say like do you think that like maybe you trust yourself to be like to honor boundaries, and so because of like it's like trust in yourself that allows you to like walk in those situations, you know, basically like
Yes.
okay, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I
Like when you get introduced to somebody that, it's somebody's husband or a boyfriend, you don't talk to him in a provocative way.
right,
In my
no,
opinion, I would never. Like, if anything, if I see like he starts to talk to me too much, I will redirect your energy. Like, if I get introduced to like, it's happened that I not friends, but I would be introduced to, gosh, like even at work, it's been kind of weird. Like sometimes I will have couples, and that happened 2 3 weeks ago. We had an event, and there was a group of people. They were all with their spouses, and this guy, like, I mean, he would come, like, follow me in the kitchen and talk to me. And even my boss was like, I was telling him, like, that's uncomfortable. Like, I feel, his wife's right there, and he's asking me all these questions. So I would just kind of like, I said, can you, like, direct your energy? Because I'm already feeling uncomfortable. So I could read it and just if that's the case on the other end, I could just redirect it, and and if it's too much, I'll move away from the situation.
Yeah.
When it's somebody you know and you've been comfortable with, it won't come up.
Yeah.
If it's new people, it's happened. I'll be like in a we'll meet in a group setting, and she's right there, and the guy's right, and he starts asking me all these like one-on-one questions, and all of a sudden the energy's here and not like here, and I would find a way to like just move out of there, because it's just you don't want to be in that situation. And even if he's an attractive man, I would not,
Mhm. Yeah.
like why somebody in a relationship is not interested. Is not interesting to me.
Mhm.
I like attention. I don't want to be like,
But have you?
I don't want to be like, oh, because what happens is you're the second person. Why would I want to do that?
But have you heard about like that that's not? I mean that that's not always true. That like a lot of people experience that when they're in a relationship, they are desired more because it's like, oh, this. I think, or you hear this about this. Like, some women
Been
do,
reached out a lot when I'm in a relationship.
right, right. And some women gravitate toward men who are in relationships because it's like, oh, that man is experienced, or he's desirable, so he's taken, so but therefore he's wanted more.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of cases to
Yeah, yeah,
speak to that.
yeah,
So I'm not gonna say just because I don't, it's not
yeah,
very
yeah,
common.
yeah, yeah,
I would just say how I feel.
yeah, yeah,
Like if somebody's already in a relationship, I wouldn't even like begin to look at them, and
yeah,
even if they're good looking, what it I wouldn't put energy in it.
yeah. It kind of makes sense. I mean, in a
There's
way, like,
plenty of people out there to find that are not them.
right?
Like, oh, is he my soulmate and I have to win him? Like, no, if he's in this relationship, he's not. And if he's really a soulmate, maybe down the road it will click and you'll find each other. But like having to steal somebody out, like, mm,
Well, in your crew, of like when you say when, because in a way, like I'm seeing like painting a picture of like a group of friends. But like, there's in reality there's probably multiple groups that don't always mingle, right? There's lots of
mm-hmm.
different people.
Yeah.
People are all over the place, so it's hard to speak to it. But I guess what I'm wondering, what I was thinking about is like, well, let's say like Burning Man, it's a place where you can go and you have a bunch of people around, and then it's like, well, what on average, like, do you say like mostly married, mostly single? Um, I guess like it's a little mix, right? Like married, single, divorced.
Where?
Well, let's say Burning Man.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Oh, everybody thinks Burning Man is this big orgy. Everybody thinks you go into Burning Man and it's this like debauchery, and it really is not. There's certain groups and corners that they specifically tell you this is what our camp is about, but it
kink.
really
Right.
isn't all that.
I mean, yeah, I haven't tried out too much, or yeah, those would be. If you have any stories about those corners, feel free to. But yeah,
I
that's
did
okay.
not. I've only been once.
Okay.
I did not end up in these corners.
Uh-huh.
So,
Right, you've only been to Burning Man once.
and nobody
Yeah.
I went with ended up in these corners also.
Okay.
Just so I can like gain some perspective from them. So, um,
the the idea of orgies or like sex parties always seems like it's a male fantasy, so therefore I imagine that when men show up to them, it's all other men, or you know what I mean, there's like not going to be that many women there actually. I don't know.
I feel think it's pretty. I don't know. What I noticed, it looked pretty evenly dispersed.
No, all right, I gotta go check out those corners. At Burning Man.
Oh, we're talking about the corners, or we're talking about like Burning Man altogether? Because I don't know about like I said, I
Right,
didn't
right.
end up
Oh yeah. No, I was talking about the corners. Yeah, that's what I was imagining that it would be
from
mostly
okay.
males. Yeah, yeah.
So what I know, so actually, what I know, that is because literally everybody that when I went, and they're like, "Well, what about the orgy dome?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't go there, but the orgy dome is you obviously like ask people around. So, the orgy dome, you cannot go unless you're with a partner.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
have
oh,
to go with a partner.
that's how they do that. Okay.
Yes, you can't just show up by yourself,
Yep. Makes sense.
and you have to be with a partner. And that's all I know. I don't know inside if you sign anything. I don't know any of that part.
I gotta,
Because I don't think
I,
you don't really like burn. Like, I don't think it's not very Burning Man because everything is like they call safety third. Like you go at your own risk.
mm,
But there is a thing. They're very big about consent.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like everywhere, every bathroom you go, everything is posted. Like no means no. Like unless like they're very enthusiastically yes, it's a no.
Hmm.
That's what was the whole thing. So I did not at any point feel uncomfortable, was made
No.
uncomfortable by men. There
No.
was like men will come talk to you, but it was never like girl I'll corner you and like like any of that. And maybe I'm also not I don't end up in situations necessarily, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Well,
move pretty safely.
yeah. I mean, it seems like a nice place to meet somebody. Burning Man does seem like that, and yeah, it seems. I mean, yeah, it seems like it would be 50-50 about in terms of men and women because that's what makes a good party is a good ratio a lot of times.
I
I think.
would say it was pretty even. I
Yeah.
don't know what their they have every year. They have a census thing that like you
Nice.
fill out, and I haven't really seen what was last year, but it
Yeah.
will. You can find those numbers, and you can know like what's the mix of people, LGBTQ, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So that was
But most of the couples that probably go to these places, I think they're very open minded when it comes to, you know.
well. So I was thinking about some of the like different viewpoints in the way people see relationships is like old fashioned versus modern. So in a way, and I think what like maybe paved the way for the difference between them is like birth control and like you know yeah birth control especially like so like
Oh, made it more.
100 years ago, if you were gonna have sex you wanted it to be with the man who's gonna marry you because otherwise it could be like
Yeah, I wonder when the concept of pulling out, like little
oh
people.
yeah, I mean I guess that was early birth control I suppose, yeah,
But like,
probably.
yeah, you would think like, didn't they? No, who knows? I don't know how far in anatomy they
Well, but
went, but
the hard part about that is that it's like all you have to do is have, you know, just flinch or change your mind for a second. You know what I mean? And then it's
oh,
gone, right?
yeah.
Like just the slightest impulse, and your well, there went your birth control. Like or you just got. What if you got tickled or something like that, right? When you were about to.
Sure. But yeah, yeah, you're probably right. I don't know.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know how I would be as a person 50 years ago.
yeah. That's I guess what I'm thinking about is like so then there's I feel like that some
Seven years.
the people advocating like more traditional roles are almost thinking like the changes have made things more chaotic or less but I think it sounds like you feel like the freedoms that women get today it's like they make for a better landscape for dating and in a way like we call it the sexual revolution, right? Like and there's some women's empowerment in there, and then it's like but it's like, and you have women are more likely to have multiple partners, not at the same time necessarily, but over the course of their lifetime. Like instead of
Without like going down the path of monogamy and marriage and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, I guess so, and I'm very grateful for that
yeah,
because I don't. My experience, if I had to be in a relationship that I was uncomfortable and I can't leave because the social norms, I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what
I
I would have
understand. Right,
done
right, right.
like
That's like a
100 years ago.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
I mean, we would be indoctrinated differently.
I mean, and in a way, I think like men must have. I mean, to, to have to change it after like having that be the norm for a century or however long it was the norm. It must have been like there must have been a lot of people who were unhappy with the way it was. I don't, right? Whether they
Yeah,
were
I mean, there
women,
was
whether
the
they were women
women
or
were
men.
abused a lot. They were, they didn't have many rights, and I'm glad that's changed.
Mm-hmm.
There was, yeah, like they were not treated as equal for a long time, so that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And why? When we go back to the to to the root cause of that, it is religion.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. That's right. You and we talked about religion a little bit last time. I mean,
And the
yeah.
fact that a lot of the religions existing are patriarchal in nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. I mean, I don't know much about most religions, but I read something in uh, like a Christian book where he sort of explains the viewpoint of like the church toward men and women, and it's the argument that this is C.S. Lewis. The argument he made was like basically every household, like ideally it's as equal as possible, but every household needs to have like a tie-breaking vote, at some point. And so, and he argues like, well, why is it the man? Well, he says maybe men are like if he uses the example like if a neighbor if the neighbor uh, throws a ball that like breaks your window or something like that, or if the neighbor or if your kid throws something and breaks the window or whatever, or if the kids get in a fight, like the mothers might not be able to be they're so passionate about caring about their kids that they might not be able to have the conversation with the other neighbor in a civil a way. So like the fathers who are a little bit more removed from the child rearing might be better at just what he called like the foreign relations, like the international, like with other families. So that's like so it makes so the argument for the that was one argument he made for the father to be the head of the family. The other argument he made was that in couples where the woman is the head of the family, like there's always a sense that like the woman herself doesn't like that. Like she would kind of rather the man be doing more, and so nobody respects the man in that situation. So that was his argument for their point of view.
I want to go back to that. Like, so if something happened in the like with the neighbor, and you think like the mom would like react out of
Yeah,
passion,
like like if the kid
gets hurt or something.
yeah, like let's say the neighbor's dog almost bit the kid, like bit her son, you know what I mean? Then like she might be like, the kill the dog, you know what I mean? Like the or she might be like if the kid if her kid did something, she might want to protect the kid from consequences. If the kid broke a window or something, or like, but if there's a conflict with another, her protectiveness might make her, you know, um,
I I don't know.
yeah,
I feel
that
like
could be a
that's
stereotype. Yeah,
it could that's yeah
it
that
leans
I
into
think it's a
stereotypes.
stereotype because it could be said for the man too. Like if somebody hurts your kid, and they
Yeah,
will
yeah,
get all like
yeah, yeah.
you know, oh, you don't talk to my kid like that or something. And I don't know. I feel that's stereotypical. Like I feel that there is a way for women and men in a relationship to balance each other out without being a problem. And I've seen it.
Definitely. I mean, I see. So like sort of
Not
50-50.
my experience.
50-50, not
Yeah, wouldn't that be? I
neither
mean,
person is the head. Yeah.
they say like, okay, let's talk about spirituality, right? Now they're talking that men who, like, the ideal man is not the one who fully embodies his masculinity, but the ones who also embodies his like feminine side and his emotions. He's in touch with his emotions and doesn't always act on impulse.
Mm-hmm.
because men are, from Mars, women are from Venus, all that stuff, and like men are more impulsive, and ideally, what like nowadays, with the rise of spirituality, not religion, but like more spirituality, and there's so many retreats now, and there's men talking about the power of being a man who embodies his feminine side as well, and there's a lot of, I don't know if you there's so much stuff online. I don't know
Hmm.
if you've encountered any of those kind of,
Only a little, but yeah,
there's
I'm aware of it.
in a form of, there's like videos of people kind of talking about it. Or there's like retreats that you can talk about it, and same with women. Like women embodying their like divine feminine, but also kind of understanding that women can be, like strong, independent beings, and so ideally, like when you find that balance within yourself as a man or as a woman between both those entities, like divine feminine and like masculine,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's where, if you meet a partner that like is in that realm, that's ideal relationship. But the fact is, like that's still very rare. I mean, a lot of men are still very afraid of like admitting, or accepting that divine feminine within them. They feel they always have to be, the that like they have to be like they wouldn't be respected if they're not sharp and not, stand on their business, and kind of like more direct,
Yeah.
and I don't know. You go to a lot of these men to man meetings. Do you guys ever talk about that?
I mean, the only
Does that concept come up
the
about like the
advice, yeah, around our like, yeah, the one that hmm, what I've been advised is to lean into the masculine, like the feminine. In other words, it's like as men, the masculine comes from like it's something you have to work at, and the feminine, I don't. It's like the feminine comes more like, uh, I don't know. It's like if I worked on my feminine side, I think the concern is I would just chip away at my masculine side. Like one will come at the expense of the other. Like I don't know that. So in terms of like expressing emotions, for example, so the thought is that if I express men express their emotions differently. Like women can cry softly. Women can cry softly, but men can often cry like horrifically, just like loudly, just messily. Uh, Men also have maybe a larger. Well, I don't know if that's just true. I don't. The two genders have different ways of expressing anger, but the male anger is maybe I think we could say male anger is more physically dangerous. So that shouldn't be like so. So that's definitely a emotion that like we want to not express around women. Like we want to like find let's just get around the men and get that out of our systems, and then go back around the women. So that's sort of like a.
and I feel like a lot of times, like when we talk about divine feminine, like if men is to embody like more like their feminine side, and people automatically assume is emotions. Women are very strong.
Women are
Like
very
it's like,
strong.
yeah, like women, like I know we're presented as those creatures, and that's how we have to be, because we're, we a lot of us are like moms and nurturing and all that, but there's a lot of strength in that. There's a lot of strength when you're like being that nurturing,
Mm.
gentle person.
But so then, when you think of a man embracing his feminine side, what would that look like? What would that look like?
I think it's more he doesn't, like he still needs to be, like strong and protective, but he also has to have like a soft side and see things, not be rigid all the time. Like, like I don't know how to it's not necessarily breaking emotions, but maybe seeing things differently and uh, and just allowing to be led. But sometimes,
Mhm. Mhm.
not always trying to lead.
Mhm.
Like it's a balance, like give and take, like yin and yang, like that kind of like in that matter. Like if you're just embracing the masculine side, you don't necessarily understand the emotion, like the the other emotions that are like the feminine way of handling things.
Mm.
I don't know. Like there's I it's kind of easier for me to like like listen and apprehend it, but that's basically when they're saying it's you wanna like kind of find that balance between your masculine and feminine. There's there's stuff that um I've listened about and I can't necessarily
I know.
transcribe it, but it doesn't come this the softness is to be able to express yourself a little bit better because men sometimes don't speak how they feel. You don't
Mhm.
have to, it doesn't necessarily mean like you have to like you know you can cry and that's okay, but like it's more of um I'm not gonna speak about this because I don't want her to think I'm weak. Yes, you
Mm.
can speak about it because if it's on your mind you better say it.
Mm.
But as a man, you sometimes think if you don't say it, you're protecting us, but you're not.
Mm.
If it's on your mind, and I feel like a lot of the time it's kind of being a little more leaning, like expressing yourself more. It's
We're.
not necessarily, like people think like, oh, it's getting emotional.
Mhm. Where it uh, what this reminds me of is a thing in some book about codependency, and it talks about having codependent. So codependency is like sort of a so like a I don't think they use word disease, but it's like a
It's not
it's
great.
it's a little almost like alcoholism. Yeah, like
Well, people associate a lot with like the relationship with like people with dependence and disorder,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like like
enabling other
usually that, yeah.
yeah. So so this description of codependency said like some codependent people sometimes lack boundaries entirely, but the other condition is that instead of having boundaries, they have walls. So it's like the proper thing is to have a boundary. It's like a firmly assertively expressed. This is where I can't talk about that or something like blah blah blah. Whereas a wall is like just shutting yourself off completely and not being so like
Yes.
to the where you isolate yourself and can't really communicate. You're not really
Like
like
you've been hurt before, so now you're like, oh, I'm like staying away from all that, like you kind of
yeah
like shut down, like love doesn't exist, and all
yeah
of
some
that.
yeah I
Yes.
think that's
So I think that in that sense of not being on the very end of like masculine, and that's like men make fire, and because I can make a mean fire. But I'm saying like just to be understand, like you could lean into the woman leading, basically allowing the woman to lead is where I think this is the balance of just kind of because women are usually expected to lean on the masculine, but like when it's the balance is like when a man can lean on her in her way of leading too. So you take your strengths and she takes her strengths, and you make them work together for your best outcome for for both of you, for your relationship. And when you're leaning strongly into your masculine side, what I'm trying to say is you might be missing on that connection.
mm.
Or, like,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're leaning
Like
on your masculine side is when you don't listen to your partner
mm-hmm.
as well, because you feel like, like maybe she's trying to manipulate you, and maybe this, and you just kind of feel like I need to like, like kind of shy away and let her go through the emotions, and I'll come back. And sometimes that's great, right? But like also knowing that there's a conversation that needs to just to offer her, hey, I'm here to listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I I want to understand you.
yeah.
And And a lot of men are like, not saying these words. They're not like making this effort.
Yeah. No, I mean,
They're like, she's crazy. She's in one of those moods. I'm gonna stay away, and I'll get back when she's nice and sweet again. And that's good, but also like, sometimes yes, for the moment, like, give us a moment to collect. But you want to see. I really want to be there for you. Like, I don't want you to feel like
yeah.
if she asks you, give me a moment, give her a moment. But some like understand that if she's not specifically saying that, if she still wants you to kind of, let her speak.
Well, I imagine like yeah that any of these roles like yeah could be like oh I could pretend I'm leaning into my masculinity but really I'm just being lazy. You know what I mean? Like I'm not listening or I'm being
Yes.
so you could be a jerk probably in that way or in the I could get in touch with my feminine and find a way to be a jerk there too and like not you know what I mean like there's but that doesn't mean I'm not that doesn't not to say that anything's invalid there like it's totally yeah this makes sense what you're saying. um I was the other one this is I've been watching this guy who's a Christian podcast guy is a debater and he's talking about male virtues versus female virtues. So he's of the he's in the male he'll be in the female traditional perspective. He thinks everything should be traditional and blah blah blah. Very, but his claim was that male virtues should be based on protecting and providing for a family, and female virtues should be based on like reproduction, like making sure that the family is, it actually is reproduces, and there's like reproduction and nurturing. Now that doesn't mean that every woman has to have a baby or that every man has to be a protector, but like his claim is that we should be like like supporting. If we're not providing protecting our own family, we should be standing for the providing and protecting of others. Now I know that providing men because of the change in society and every women in the workplace basically,
Mm-hmm.
men are not really the providers as much anymore. Is that your sense as well? And is like part of like if you feel like men are you have any advice for men on how to deal with that? Like should we do we still have
I mean, there's a lot of men out there that are kind of sometimes roles can, there's a big example. Jacinda, what's her last name? The
hmm.
Prime Minister, New
Oh, of
Zealand, Burdett.
yeah, a Hearn or something. It's not a Hearn. No, it's
No, Burden.
yes. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The Prime
Oh
Minister
my
of New
God.
Zealand for a while. Yeah,
Yes, great lady. I mean, when she left, I know, like, I lived in New Zealand. A lot of my friends
yeah.
were
Oh
like,
wow.
devastated
She's
because
very young.
she was
She's the same.
she was very young. She was pregnant when she stepped into office, and she had a baby, and they openly said that her partner, who they were not married,
Mm.
took the because of the role she was stepping into. He basically stepped down from whatever he was doing. I don't even know. In he became the stay-at-home person, and they normalized that, and it was totally okay. It was just she was a strong leader, and she had to step in where she had to step in, and he saw like this is her moment, and he let her lead. Like he let her have her moment. He did not make her feel bad. He did not let be intimidated by people saying he's a stay-at-home dad.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So um there's 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 ways to make these stereotypes normal. Like he didn't necessarily like sacrifice his career. I don't know how, like, he didn't. I wouldn't say it was a sacrifice. I think he did what he had to do in the moment. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she was stepping into leadership, and that was had to be done. And now she's stepped down. I don't know. I don't follow. Maybe he went back to and the child is older probably and whatnot. But I think it's okay in certain moments to to do those roles because he was contributing in different ways. They
Mm-hmm.
normalized, him being stay-at-home dad, and she was the front of a nation for.
I wonder if he did he they s- I wonder if they're still together. I thought I remember. I think I remember she was like they're they reading some article while she was prime minister about like some party she was They have here's her
Oh,
dancing at a party or whatever the night or
with
whatever.
somebody else?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But I don't. I wonder if I can look it up while we're here.
yeah, you could. We could. I don't know if you
Google
pause or yeah, check.
Jacinda.
Bart. What is?
Yes, Jacinda
Yeah,
Ardern. Jacinda Ardern. Is
that.
that
Yeah, I
would
think
that
that.
be her?
Yeah, that would be her.
Wait, former Prime Minister of New Zealand. Uh, Jacinda Kate. So that was close. Ardern, New Zealand. Blah 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 blah. Member of Parliament. From 2008 to 2017, and Mount Albert from 2017 to 2023. She's 44 years old. Yeah, she's young. So this guy, her spouse is Clark Gayford. Uh, let's see. Blah blah blah. Views. Personal life. Blah, blah, blah. They began dating in 2013. In 2017, she was elected as the leader of the Labour Party. On the same year, he had been referred to as the spouse of the prime minister, although the couple were not married at the time. He accompanied her on international visits, and they were expecting their first child in 2018. Their daughter
Yeah,
was
she
born.
was pregnant when she stepped into office.
Engaged to be married in 2019. Uh, their 2022 wedding was uh, delayed because of the Delta Delacron hybrid COVID variant. So they had to go to isolation, but they finally did get married in 2024 at a private ceremony. Okay.
And where's he at today? They're still married, right?
They're still married, yeah. No, I mean,
It
they just
sounded
got
like
married.
for
Yeah.
a couple that like stood in the spotlight, strong in in that arrangement they had.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that could last. Like
Yeah.
I feel like if because he didn't. There were probably people that were talking like, "Oh, what kind of a man stays at home with a child and let I'm sure there was that talk, and he didn't care. And that's what I'm saying. He leaned like that to me is a man who's not like he could like he could stand against these kind of um oh that's a female thing to do
Mm-hmm.
and and didn't didn't take offense and kept him moving and
I mean, I guess he would still, he's not the provider. He takes care of the kids, and I've had friends do that, be stay-at-home dads for some time. I guess you still get to be the protector potentially. Like if there's a sound in the middle of the night, like maybe you're the probably the man doing that. I mean, I guess so. It's kind of like more emphasis on the protector role, maybe.
yeah I could see like and not to say that she probably still would let him handle that like it's not just because she leaves the country doesn't mean like she can fight off
Yeah,
somebody breaking into her house
yeah.
and that's what I'm talking like I feel in that sense if everything that that's behind the scene checks like if they're behind the scene it really is what like it looks on the outside it's an example of
Yeah, I think my only pushback to it would be like that, and this would be this idea that it seemed it's nice that they're still together, but the suspicion for a lot of men is that like
she
oh
did
she's not gonna respect me. She's like oh if she provides does the thing, and all of a sudden she's like oh there's these other guys I'm working oh the prime minister of Australia is he's he's doing so much more than you are I come or whatever it is.
well yeah so it's not common thing so it's not
Right.
so there's
Yeah.
I think that's it could be questionable because for the I think the majority of people see that as not the norm, and they would have something to say about it. So I saw it like, this is great, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that said, like I still, like at home, I still kind of would want him to step in as the man, just to kind of, if he's completely like, oh, you do this and you do this, like, it's, but if my role was, like if it was the easier thing for me to like step into the role I am, and you do this, I would see it still as a great help. Like,
Mm-hmm. Right, right. Like, uh, you can still be masculine even if you're doing a traditionally feminine job, but like,
yeah, we don't know. He still
yeah.
probably is a very like, nice gentleman. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I would assume so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she seemed. I mean, she seemed feminine. You know what I mean? Like she.
She seems like she had her priorities in the right places. Her morals were in the right places. So I wouldn't see her. I would imagine she's not the kind of person that looks down on a man because he stays at home
Mm-hmm.
and looks after her
Mm-hmm.
kid.
Mm-hmm. I guess the other I mentioned it earlier, but I actually wanted to respond to that. The sort of the more controversial part of that guy I was talking about, he who says, not so much that men are protectors and providers. That's but the idea that women, a woman's virtues could center around being reproduction.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you think? What is it? What does that make you think of? Or
Well, we do have the autonomy for it, like,
mm-hmm.
no doubt. And but
I guess it's not the most fun part of your existence, right? Like giving birth is a pretty painful thing. Yeah.
it is, but like not everyone is built to be a parent. I feel
Definitely.
like
Yeah.
there's that, and I feel that people should just listen to that, not try and have kids, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times kids are born out of passion, and that's when you don't know how this relationship is gonna turn, and like people jump into it too easily. You're passionate. Like yesterday, I met this couple, and they had just met, and they were like, he's like, play this, this is for her, and we did this. I want to have kids with her. I'm like, how long have you known each other? 3 days. I'm like, okay, please don't make a child together, because I was asking him, because he was speaking so like they're from they were visiting from Mexico, and they were like very, like in love, and it was very like unusual. I don't know. Like I was driving left, right, and I just kind of like had this drive with them. So, um, of course, I was like, "This is so cute, yes," but but I did say like, "Well, you guys are cute, but this is your third day, like." Don't burn out that passion, because he was like, I want to make kids, and she was all like smiling about it, because they're into that very like, they're letting that physical kind of connection take over right in the beginning, and a lot of people do that, and then they make kids out of that passion, and then down the road they're like, oh my god, what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
But like, but of course you have the instinct of a parent. Some don't, but like, if you have still like that kind of like instinct, you will step up and raise the kid. And if the relationship is toxic, by all means, don't try to work on it. Focus on the child. Okay? Like, yes, you made a mistake, you jumped in too soon. You
Yeah.
tried
Yeah.
it, but if it's
Yeah.
now toxic and it's developing into this thing that and your child's growing in it, you don't want that. Like just kind of that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Now, is this the case? I don't know. But a lot of kids are born out of this initial passion, and I feel, now as a grown up, I'm like understanding that, and understand how wrong it could be if you just like allow yourself on that go on that like primal instinct
Right.
into a relationship.
Right.
And remember, I was saying that, like, just
I think so.
I
Yeah.
like to now from an experience standpoint. I'd like to like kind of take it like a different approach in my 40s and just kind of go, let's start as friend. Like I want to get to know this person because before I allow them to go somewhere else. Because once you get physical,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and no matter what, and no matter what your intentions were,
Mm-hmm.
your mind is already clouded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you start looking at this from a different angle. You're kind of like falling a victim of your lust and passion, and it's cool. You know, some relationships are just for that, and it's great. But and if you're within their setting, this is always. I just need, I just need to be, I need to have sex or I need to be physical. Go do it. No judgment. But don't expect to like make something lasting out of that.
Hmm.
It could be, but it's also like you might notice down the road, like when you start to get to know this person and that like initial sexual energy's like a little bit dissolved,
Yeah.
and you don't like being with him in the same room for a long time. I've
Yeah.
been in this situation and it's like, yeah, I don't want to do that again. Because it's hard, having that conversation. Like if the other person's not getting it, like if they're not like feeling the same way,
Yeah.
it would be very hard at that point.
Yeah. No, it's a
I've been accused, of like, well, why you don't feel sexual, like you're not a sexual person, or you don't, why you don't. It's like it's not that. I just know better.
hmm.
I know
Yeah.
better. I still enjoy sex. I still, but I'm in control of those emotions.
I mean, yeah, it does seem like the culture is like we're kind of obsessed with like how much like, there's so much porn. Like, oh my god, like how is that? I feel like there's probably yeah, there's a lot of porn.
Porn has its place in certain things, but when it becomes too like when you're reaching for it, all the time, you might want to like seek some help for that.
Yeah, I don't want to act like I'm against porn or I don't want to act like I'm above it or anything like that.
I might just made it, I just made it very, open and said like I'm not above it.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
watched porn, it has its
Right, right. No,
setting,
no, no. I wasn't. Yeah, no. I was more. Yeah, just catching myself. Yeah, like.
But
No,
yeah, I
I
don't
didn't.
feel bad because
Yeah.
I don't, but there's certainly people that are like leaning on it in the wrong way, right? Like they're like a little too much. And for me, often I see conversations online. Oh, I found like my boyfriend or my husband has been watching a lot of porn and they feel betrayed. And I'm like, really? Like over porn? Like, like that's my way of looking at it. But then, there's certain level that you can go way too far in it. If it's like if he's watching a lot of porn, I certainly wouldn't feel offended.
Really, that's one of those things that wasn't. You didn't have to worry about that 100 years ago. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't. I
Yeah.
don't. I guess.
But there was the brothels. Like I'm watching this
Sure,
show.
that's true. That's true.
I'm watching this show, and it's a lot. Revolves around men in politics and this, and they like married men, and they all at certain point were like rotating through the brothel, like in this show, and I'm pretty sure it was a thing.
It seems realistic. Seems
If you can
plausible.
afford it,
Yeah.
you probably stopped there a few times, and
Well, and it's probably just like today. There's some people who are whose constitution is such that they're like having some people have sex is the center of their life, and some people it's a small thing that they're not that temperamentally like some people go years with like 20 years or probably the last many years of their lives without having any.
yeah, I mean, I feel, like the moment you become in control of those emotions, you can achieve anything. Like, have you heard that? Like, a man who's in control of his lust and emotion
Mm.
can achieve anything.
Um, I mean, I can imagine it being a major thing to be in control of. Is it? You think it's say that about a woman too?
Yes.
It's like did you do you remember, like, was there an age where you felt like you learned that lesson, or was that like a
Yeah, I mean, like earlier, I wouldn't say I was sleeping around. I never was that person, but
yeah.
I would I feel like I would go into it too soon, not knowing the person well enough, and then when you discover you don't like him, you're like, kind of feel almost like, yeah, well, yeah, like that kind of that way. Like I felt, that I I should not fall into that lust trap too
Yeah.
soon, because it doesn't necessarily, just because you have a good sex, it doesn't mean you're compatible.
Yeah. That's
I found that, having the sexual energy doesn't necessarily mean you have the the capabilities of staying in a room and process situations the best way with that person.
so. Quote that Christian's book again. He was saying, he talks about, I think, how the sex drive or this lust itself is like it's created to trick us into getting married. Like he was saying, like,
Because they didn't allow it before that. Because it was no, that whole, like you belong to one person and you have to keep yourself for marriage. That because religion made it that way. You had to like stay. You had to be untouched until marriage.
mm-hmm.
So yes, and it will force people to get married sooner, and just because they're young, and that's like when you're young, it's hard. Like I'm not saying when you're young, it's a little bit harder. You don't have the experience. I feel like
Right,
to
right.
control that as
So,
well.
well, yeah. I mean, his argument, the argument here is that, like, well, I mean, I guess I can relate to it. Like, I mean, if I had you know time where I met somebody and fell for them, and we kind of had a exciting week,
Yeah.
and then we went our separate ways. It was over, or it didn't we didn't stick together, but we I regretted that afterward, and like that's the kind of thing that kind of thing could lead to a marriage. Like we could have stayed together just based off of that week, and and for some of us, like, it might take a week like that to get us even in the into the space of getting married, right? Like, just, but that kind of it gets you he talks about how, like, it gets lovers, when they're in the midst of that lustful feeling, will say things like "I love you" or "I'll stay with you forever" or whatever. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, the good news is that might get people to actually do it. Like he's kind of arguing like that's because but yeah, their viewpoint, the Christian viewpoint, is like you're supposed to meet somebody, stay with them, and have have 10 kids. I mean, I guess that's not, he didn't say that exactly, but that's the, and nobody says that. I mean, Christianity doesn't say that, but I think the cultural Christian does like to have a lot of kids. Like they are like have a big family, multiply, right?
Yes,
Um,
and and it's because they kind of like maybe also focus on sex in it's a reproductive
that's
thing.
right. That's right. Yeah.
So it's almost like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing because we're, like fulfilling the roles that were as intended and whatnot.
I mean, I assume that's like it's, well, I guess, yeah. We don't have to.
But how do you explain, like, there's still so many people that, like in public eye, a lot of politicians that are like big Christians and whatnot, and then it turns out they they have a lot of dirty laundry
No,
and
yeah,
all of that. Like that's when I'm like,
yeah.
please. And now there's this people that preach the most, they're the loudest, and like when you check in, and they have all kinds of allegation coming through, and now that's how do you feel about that? Like,
Yeah, no, I mean they're jerks. Yeah, I would say.
They're
Like,
jerks. I love it. I love it. That's correct. They're jerks. Yes. So that's
uh, they're not following Christianity. You know, like I guess I would say you don't get to be you're not Christian just because you say you are.
yeah.
So like I don't even I don't say I am. I like the idea of being it, like, but I
You're
know.
more traditional. Like, a little more. Would you
Sure.
say
I
you're
mean,
more traditional?
well, I watched that. I watched those views, or I watched those videos, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes, like for example, I saw a couple of videos about pornography and prostitution, and basically like pornography is like prostitution but on a video on video, right? Like it's like you can
Yeah,
look at
I
it that
think.
way.
I mean it. Yeah.
So the liberal video said, well, pornography and prostitution are the same. You know, it's inconsistent. I've seen both arguments that they're that those two things are. It's inconsistent that pornography is legal, but prostitution is illegal in most places, right? It's like, why should it be legal just because you put it on video? You know what I mean? But like it's illegal everywhere else.
Yeah, I don't know the because
So
I guess it's like consenting, like
both sides were
they're
saying,
selling, they're selling sex basically.
yeah, yeah,
They're selling sex, but like when it's for one side's profit, it's different. And
I mean, maybe that would be the argument,
is
but so I saw an argument saying, well, wait, sorry,
no, I was gonna say is I was gonna ask actually if you know that because I'm confused. Is prostitution illegal still in California?
I think everywhere in California, I think only in Nevada,
Yeah, in Nevada, I know that
it may be legal.
because the reason why I'm asking is like there's a park in Vallejo when you drive past.
Oh, it's like
There's girl
definitely.
like there's like 7 to 10 girls on all the corners at any point, and I was like, oh, when did that change? Given Vallejo's bankrupt city, they don't have police force or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
Oakland is the same. I mean, Oakland has a streets known for prostitution as well. Yeah.
so I'm just saying, like the only way this exists is there's some understanding between the law enforcement. They're like, well, they're not a problem anymore.
Yeah, it's like they don't. Well, it's like
It might
fireworks.
still be like
Yeah,
a
they
law
don't.
thing, but they're like, okay, they're on the bottom of our list of problems.
Sure, sure. So there's like, well, yeah, in like
I was just
like
wondering if that changed because I might have missed that because I was shocked. I only saw it like last like week or
okay.
2 weeks ago
I
or
haven't heard
something,
I
and
haven't
I
heard
was
anything that it's official, but I guess they were saying like so the traditional perspective is, yeah, they're inconsistent, so make pornography illegal. Whereas the liberal perspective is, yeah, they're inconsistent, so make prostitution legal. And of those two ideas, to me, the the idea of, oh, we should make prostitution legal, it doesn't seem like, like I'm trying to figure out how would that really benefit.
I think the problem with prostitution was like because the human trafficking,
Right.
and now like we thought in the porn it was a consent, right? Like there's got to be a consent, but then I've been hearing about cases that there's women that they were like forced into the porn, and that's not all the cases, but there's been some that I've heard about.
I guess my thought is that like this the idea that instead of, you know I think the idea of making porn illegal. I mean, I come from a liberal back. I mean, I was very liberal up until 2016, and then I kind of shifted in 2018 even in 2018.
I was wondering about that. I kind of went back and I was like, oh. This guy was all over the place.
Was well, so like
But it happened to a lot of people because, like, I think when we were leaning, like, if we were more liberal, and then the liberal leaders, like, did change. And there was all this, like, issues, and a lot of us, like, I don't believe in the liberal values anymore because of what we've seen. And
yeah,
they still go to war.
yeah,
They still get paid by pharma. They still do all these things,
right.
and that's where
It's hard to find, yeah, which who represents
So
what
I
values,
totally
you know.
understand where you're coming from on that. Like,
Yeah.
that said, that would not catapult me into the other side. Let me tell you this much. Like,
Well,
it would not.
in this cultural, in this like, I think the cultural stuff, like, I don't know much about, you know, I'm not, I don't know about the economy or, you know, or foreign relations. Like, I don't think that, you know, I don't know, I don't even know what conservative versus liberal is of foreign relations. But with regards to like this, like some of this cultural stuff, like the, you know, the idea of, you know, to me, you know, whatever the sexual revolution, like at some point, maybe the pendulum swung like further than I'm comfortable with. So I
Yeah.
find myself like, you
Like,
know,
yes, there's like all these OnlyFans, like there's all these
yeah,
accounts, and everybody like is selling their looks and body on social media. It's a lot for me. I don't I don't understand that part. But
yeah,
so it's, I still believe people should do whatever they want to do. But I am a little bit like, I am a little taken aback by, it's too much. Like a lot of it is too much for me. Like, it's like, why is sex such a big part? And I do feel, I do tend to kind of look a little like, I want, like, I would be honest, like, I look a little down on people like that are so much like pushing sexuality online.
yeah,
Like, like, be comfortable. Like, don't, like, don't like make it so like it's just, there's lines that I wouldn't cross. Like, it's just like, this is too much.
yeah.
Like, you like, you post videos of your kid, but then you post, like, it's just like, come on, like, really?
Or there's like people, there's like online profiles where it's like, okay, it's fun to look at a nice, it's like you have a good body, good. Oh, but oh, you're showing, you know, no, you don't need to show me like your your bare ass or whatever. You know, I don't.
I mean, you're free to do whatever you want, but like, I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to be associated with, like,
Right.
necessarily with what, yeah.
Yeah. Um. Um. Well.
That said, if you're a model and if that's your page, your boyfriend kind of, like, I think like he would be crossing a line if he comes and steps in and asks you, like, can you turn it down?
I okay. Okay. But
We were talking about
yeah,
Jonah
like
Hill, right?
Jonah Hill. But then like, but what if? But more, it would be more honorable or consistent to say like at the very beginning, oh, you're an OnlyFans model. Oh, no, thank you. I don't want to date you. That would be like,
Right.
right?
She's a model. She's
Yeah.
expected to post pictures
Yeah.
of her and surf cons concepts and stuff. So, surfer girls, there's a lot of them. Like, they have to, like, put a certain line there.
Yeah.
So there's, like, like, if men lust, I mean, get over it. They
Yeah.
obviously just don't, like, your
You're in a
lady better, and you know that she wouldn't entertain some thirsty man, like, out of like thousands of messages she gets.
you're in a competitive environment. No matter, you have to compete for, you know, the attention of the other, you know, the people. Like, yeah, that's part of it. You know, yeah, and that's part of a thing that men have to, in a way, like the picture of unhappy women in from 100 years ago, that like, oh, they were being treated
Mm-hmm.
badly and given no choice, is based partly on these men who were not treating them well anymore. Like if the man was like treating them like a princess, then she wouldn't feel, maybe wouldn't be upset about the lack of, right. Like, but there's, well, probably a
Yes.
lot of these men were not doing that. They were being jerks or whatever, right?
Yes,
And going
I
to the brothel and, you know.
I wouldn't leave a man because I saw somebody else that I like. If this man was treating me right and giving me the right attention,
Yeah. Yeah.
it usually is the, like, you start to notice his attention changes. He's not there for you, and that those are the things that will be like, okay, it's time to, like, rethink the situation. That's personally me. At least I haven't been in the situation where, like, I left I left somebody because somebody looked better, like I want this guy, like I'm in love, I'm, like this, no, it's usually like you start looking when you're like not treated, like you're no longer his princess, or like the center of attention. And I'm not saying like but like it's just giving you the time and the attention that's
Hmm. Yeah.
not excessive. It doesn't have to be excessive. It's kind of, there's a balance, and when that's not there.
Um. Yeah. Have you ever been told that you look a little like Alexandria Ocasio Cortez?
No.
I thought you're. I thought. I think.
I
It's,
like her.
yeah.
I like her. Yeah.
Expressive
She's
eyes.
spicy. She's spicy, and she's
Spicy.
not intimidated by men, and
Right.
like I
Right.
could see a lot in her.
Well, when you're talking, yeah, the New Zealand Prime Minister thing about his spouse her spouse reminded me of, I think, AOC's boyfriend is similarly like present but not, you know.
Yeah, he's allowing her to, like, she's with him because he probably treats her right, and
Um.
he doesn't have to be somebody special.
Mhm.
I'm sure, I don't know him, but I guess he like a,
I don't know either. I don't.
like, is he like a
We could.
fa-
Should we look it up? I don't. That's.
yeah, we don't have to. I'm just saying, like, I think, like a relationship that she's chosen to put in the spotlight is because she's comfortable with this relationship.
Mhm. Mhm.
If I was in a relationship I wasn't comfortable with, I wouldn't be broadcasting it.
Mhm.
I wouldn't, like, I would keep that person on the down low, and and but if you chose to, like, make it official in public eye because she's a public person, then you do have some trust and
Mhm.
respect of this partner. Yeah.
Um. So we're hitting. We just passed the 2 hour mark. So
Oh, we are,
good for us.
yay! And
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing is like shut down, and
That's right. So, I do have. One of the guys I watched who did this type of thing, he would always ask some deep question and try to ask him like the meaning of life or whatever. So, but then the subjects that we were talking about. So it was like, what is? Do you have like, what is love to you? Like, what's the sort of, since we're talking about that? So instead of asking about the meaning of life, ask what's the meaning of love.
the meaning of love. It's a long pause, right? Thinking my next move. It's when you. I've always pictured it, as everything comes easy. It's not an effort. Like, I mean, you still always work in a relationship, right? But if everything is difficult and you have to fight for everything, and I picture that if I find that partner that it's like perfect, I'll know. Like, I would want to let him in, and like, I'll open all the doors, pull all the stops. But because I am proceeding with caution, like at this point, I've been in relationships that I'm not saying it hurt me, but it's also like it's a time lost. You're like kind of going through like for years, and you're not getting younger, and it's kind of like you would have wished to spend this time differently. So at this point, I don't want to put the energy and time in something that's too difficult. Like like it's too difficult. Like, relationships are work, but when like when you have a very opposing views, and he'll argue, like he won't hear you out. Like, like the last relationship I couldn't even like speak my mind. Like, I'll get like interrupted, and it's just, and it was difficult. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not gonna change you. You don't want to change, and I've come far enough to know that I don't want to be with this person anymore. but you liked him in the, I liked him in the beginning, but then when you start to get the full personality, the full range, and even I questioned myself, like, well, did I bring this in him? And then I found out from relatives and close, no, he's always been that person. So he kind of tracked down that. And
Well,
so I've looked in. So I feel like in love is when it wouldn't be that difficult. It would come much, like, things will come easier. Like, you would kind of complete each other. Like, if hey, I'm thinking about, like, going to Tahoe, and you're like, well, let me see what days, like, what do we, that kind of stuff. Like, we kind of complete each other, not, but like,
it sounds nice.
really now, like, are you sure, that kind of stuff, like,
Um, do you have any one romantic movie or book recommendation to go out with, or two or three?
I don't. I don't. I like a lot of romantic movies. I'm not very good with, like, keeping track of movies. That, well, Sex and the City, that was kind of
Sex and the City is a good one. Yeah.
uh, not ideal.
Not the movies, the TV show, right?
The then the movies were kind of followed by the TV show.
They have a show.
Like, what?
They have a modern update. They have some kind of show going on right now.
Yes, yes, there is.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah,
You have?
I've seen it, but it was kind of one of those things that it comes once a week, and now I'm like, I'll just let it accumulate a little bit, and then
Interesting. Yeah.
I'll watch it. I don't know. I mean, I had to wait, but then I forgot. So now it's been a few weeks. So I was like, okay, I'll just wait a few more weeks, and I just watched the whole thing. But and it was, Charlotte, like, she found her partner.
The bald guy.
Yes. He just he was there for her for anything.
Mm-hmm.
He would support her in anything. He would listen to her. Like, her was very cute. Like, and then it was the Carrie and Mr. Big. Like, he was a bit of a jerk in the beginning. He was not. Remember, there was an episode where he would take
He
her.
was-
That you haven't probably watched that.
He was masculine.
Yes, and he would take her to places that they discovered that he doesn't want to be seen with her. And she was so devastated when she figured it out.
I remember that. What about Aiden? She cheated on him with Mr. Big, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was in the
That was harsh.
beginning. That was harsh. Yeah, Aiden was sweet, but he also was a little bit too old school for her.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he was a little too old school for her, and
He had some country house or something.
yes. So I think they had a hard time meeting each other in the middle, because she was the city girl and she had a past, and I feel, why did she get with him? She wasn't completely over. I think, like, he was a rebound.
Started it too soon, yeah.
It was too soon, and he was a bit of a rebound.
I watched some video about it recently, so it just popped in my head. Some of the things.
Yes.
Well,
So yeah, I mean, that I forgot about that part, but now I remembered, and I don't know. I think she hasn't completely closed the chapter with Mr. Big or John. John is, like, they didn't really mention his name until later. I think in the movies. So I think in her mind, like, she never closed the chapter. He broke her heart so many times, she wasn't over it. She was looking for him in every single relationship and a guy, and that was her mistake. Yeah, and I wouldn't, like, I feel bad, like, the way she treated Aiden. Like he did not deserve that.
well, I think it's very. We probably agree that it's very almost impossible for any couple to just ride off into the sunset. It's not really like that. It's more. have to go. You're going into work together for some. You got the long haul for those couples that it lasts for. It's not like the movies, you know. So
Yes.
yeah.
I feel love is should be like giving each other space to be who you are.
Well, I think that's a great place to
Close
for
it.
us to close it out. Thanks so
Sure.
much for
It was a
doing
pleasure.
this.
We did this how many times?
I bet it works this time. All right. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Sasha.
Thank you.